Despite the fact that life can feel like an uphill battle at times, what if the key to overcoming the obstacles it presents lay in the perspective you take? Imagine for a moment that every obstacle you face is not merely a roadblock, but rather a chance for personal development. Imagine coming to the realization that the challenges you are currently facing are not hurdles, but rather opportunities to awaken to a more profound awareness of who you are. Because of this shift in viewpoint, we are able to recognize that the potential for transformation is present within each and every challenge. In the course of this investigation, we will delve into the ways in which accepting the challenges that life presents can liberate a wellspring of tranquility and contentment that is already present inside you, just waiting to be accessed. It is true that life is trying, but once you completely acknowledge that it is difficult, it no longer feels like it is overly difficult to overcome. The most significant challenge is frequently caused by our mental resistance to the events that occur, in conjunction with the presumption that things shouldn't be working out in this manner. Once you have developed a connection with the present now that is based on surrender, it will seem less intimidating to you because everything happens right here and right now. Even when you are in the midst of chaos, you may still maintain a connection to the core of who you are. In the background, there is always a core of calm that is silently present, despite its presence. This core will always be there, regardless of what occurs. Despite the fact that we refer to it as quiet, it is also the origin of genuine contentment, which is a feeling of well-being that is independent of the physical conditions. Over the course of your life, you will probably face a variety of challenges, ranging from little to major. The tiny obstacles that you encounter on a regular basis teach you to not react negatively when your plans do not go as planned. When other people don't behave in the way that you anticipate, you learn to let go of your aggravation or fury. Having this acceptance makes it much simpler to deal with the difficulties that life throws at you, relieving you of the obligation to urge that things should be treated differently. When everything is said and done, nobody wants to deal with flights that are canceled. The weather shouldn't interfere with trip plans. Getting older is a natural part of life, and illness might strike unexpectedly. Prepare yourself to peel back the layers of your own resilience and uncover the gems that are buried beneath the mess that is life. What if the storms that you have been experiencing in your life were nothing more than the backdrop for your next masterpiece? It is possible that as we traverse this terrain together, you will learn that each obstacle serves not just as a test, but also as a guide, illuminating the road that leads to a more profound understanding of yourself. So, are you prepared to take on the crazy adventure that lies ahead of you and discover how adversity may serve as your most valuable educator? Because of this, many illnesses are caused, or you are much more likely to have an illness if your mind is very dysfunctional. This is because the physical resistance is decreased when the mind is dysfunctional. The actions of the mind unquestionably have an effect on the body. The concept that your mental and emotional condition can have an effect on your physical state is becoming increasingly recognized even in conventional medical practice. If your mental and emotional condition is extremely disordered, your body's resistance to sickness will weaken, which will increase the risk that you will become unwell. Because of the fact that there are other factors that can lead to illness, no one can be completely free and say, "I'm never going to get sick." The human body is a physical vehicle that has a specific lifespan, and as it reaches the later phases of its existence, it is similar to an old car in that things begin to go wrong with it. The older your vehicle gets, the more components it will require replacement, and eventually, it will reach a point where it will just stop functioning properly. If you come to terms with the fact that challenges are beneficial and serve to arouse you, it will be much simpler for you to deal with the difficulties that life throws at you. This has been going on for a considerable amount of time here. People suffer as a result of difficulties, and this suffering might last for an extremely extended period of time. There are occasions when I state that every single person has a spiritual teacher. The majority of people on this earth will find that their spiritual teacher is their own pain. This is due to the fact that suffering will eventually lead to an awakening. There are a select individuals who have reached a certain level of development, who have previously endured their pain, and who subsequently come into contact with an actual spiritual teaching. This can take the form of a wisdom tradition, an actual spiritual teacher, or simply a book. All of a sudden they exclaim, "Oh wow, yes," and then the process of evolution quickens. For you, this acceleration is already occurring, since in the absence of this acceleration, the evolution of consciousness would be exceedingly sluggish. Because evolution occurs at a glacial pace, it is still the case for a significant number of people. Because of this, we continue to make the same errors. Do politicians and other individuals not have any history books in their possession? You need just travel back in time 50 years, and then you will repeat the same error. If we go back 40 years, we will be doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. This is a part of karma. And then you reach that stage where an acceleration begins, and by now all of you have arrived at that stage, which is amazing. Therefore, whenever you are faced with a challenge, regardless of the form it takes, you should look at it. Be mindful that your mind does not construct a vast network of pointless thoughts around it. If it does, the situation will become quite challenging. The majority of issues are actually rather straightforward. Here is the circumstance or the individual, and you have the option of either taking action or not taking action. Now, what course of action is feasible? The next step is to take a clear look at what actions are required at this moment. There exists a presence that is fluid, and presence has the ability to motivate action. You need to take a look at the circumstance before you can engage in an activity that is inspired by presence. At the same time that you are looking, you should not only be seeing visually, but also concentrating your awareness on the circumstance. In order to gain access to the primal wisdom that is present in the silence, there is a period of time during which you must be present. When a scenario presents itself, you should look at it, and while you are doing so, by paying it attention, there is no need to worry about it. The only thing that is looking toward it is alertness. The length of time that this continues to occur might range anywhere from a few seconds to a minute to 2 minutes. On the other hand, it is frequently sufficient to give it careful attention for a few seconds. Our attention is forced back into the present when our mind seems suddenly to divide something. Possible causes of action will then present themselves to you, regardless of what it is that is required. It is completely okay for you to react to a circumstance, or you may come to the conclusion that there is nothing that can be done at this moment. Despite the fact that there is nothing that can be done, you choose to accept what is and maintain your connection. Even when confronted with unfavorable circumstances, there are occasions when you might feel a deeper connection to the genuine source of satisfaction, even more than usual. If you become familiar with what is, you will have a much easier time gaining access to this source. The simple act of developing a pleasant relationship with what is makes it much simpler to gain access to the fulfillment source. Continuous resistance and denial are the means by which that which transcends the ego is maintained. No matter what it is, the ego is opposed to it. With a few notable exceptions, it is almost always in opposition to the present moment. As a result, coming to terms with the fact that people and circumstances are as they are, and coming to terms with the fact that this circumstance cannot be any other way than it is, why not? It ought to be no, and it definitely cannot be because it already is. It is the culmination of everything that has ever happened in the history of the universe that has led to this very moment. Due to the fact that everything is connected to everything else, everything that occurs is tied to the entirety of the situation. The entirety of the universe ever since the Big Bang is responsible for the occurrence of this incident. So, that is the situation. There is a possibility that you can take action and do something, even if there is nothing that you can do. To take action, however, one must first acknowledge the fact that something is as it is, and then gain an understanding of the possibilities that exist. After that, either you take action, if it is possible, or you come to the realization that nothing is possible. Subsequently, surrender takes place, and when you yield, you are liberated from the predicament on an internal level. You are able to feel the satisfaction that is coming to you as a result of that surrender or acceptance. This is not because things is going well, because it may not be right now. Rather, it is because you are linked with the source of all life and all aspects of satisfaction. In addition, it does not feel any different. It's okay if you find yourself in a confined space. It has come to our attention that the secret to successfully navigating the problems that life presents is not to get rid of them or to wish them away. The important thing is to view them as chances for personal development, relationship building, and enlightenment. The achievement that may have earlier appeared to be dependent on the approval of others is now shown to be the simple expression of a higher consciousness that is operating inside us. As a result of this revelation, we are encouraged to let go of the ego's craving for recognition and instead discover peace by simply being present with what is. It is important to keep in mind that each moment of acceptance gets you closer to the center of stillness that resides within you, so enabling you to establish a deeper connection with the source of genuine satisfaction. If you found this journey and the ideas that were presented to be valuable, I strongly encourage you to like this video and share with someone this is valuable to. Subscribe to this channel for more future inspiration in your life. Let's work together to disseminate this message and continue our investigation of the profound truths that bind us all together, so paving the road for a life that is more fulfilling and informed by consciousness.